How are you, my fans, sneak peepers, and curious friends? I am difficult and demanding. If you want to know my real name, then hold still, and I might bring your wish to fruition. Before we begin, you can find this podcast show in iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Blueberry, Google Play Music, TuneIn, YouTube, and Stitcher. Now, unlike the other people in your life, I actually care about what you think. So meet me halfway, take a tiny moment, and give my podcast and each episode a review rating. This is the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast, keeping it real, uncensored, and shooting straight between the eyes. The third eye, that is. I am going to hit you with explicit truth. This solo show is outrageously honest and keenly witty with a view into life. Yes, I said life. That's what we do every day when we wake up from sleeping. We are living life. Well, some of us at least. Moreover, I hope to provide you with gut-wrenching laughter and a touch of wisdom. Let's get something straight. Really, really straight. I am truly, actually, habitually, and shamelessly difficult and demanding, and I completely own it. Now, I don't ask for much because I expect and receive it all. I firmly believe that if you expect shit, you will receive shit. What does that mean? Well, it means expect nothing but the best and don't settle for less. As always, I, your host Tara, am keeping it real and uncensored. Are you ready? Because I am. So let's unplug you from your life and dive all into episode 44 of the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast. Do you go through life with a sense of entitlement? Who or what owes you something? What exactly have you done to be so deserving? I've got some news for you. What you think you're entitled to is actually a privilege, which can be here today and gone tomorrow. Do you wish you did things differently in your relationship? Why? Why have regrets? You made your decision at the time, so you've lost the relationship. Fix yourself, and maybe you won't lose your next love. Before I begin, I am going to do a call out. What's a call out? Well, it's not a shout out. I am calling out you motherfucking lurkers. If you have entered my world, then be honest with yourself about it. You want to be here, and you know I want you here, so follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Finally, climb aboard and enjoy the entire show, because I am giving you plenty of ridiculous honesty. Once the podcast episode ends, I am keeping it going on my Instagram page at Difficult and Demanding and on my Twitter page at Mrs. D&D. Satisfaction. Enduring satisfaction. Do you know what that is like? I bet you think you do. Real satisfaction stays with you. It lingers throughout your body. The sheer thought of it will spark the same sensations over and over again. Are you satisfied? Are you ever satisfied? Where do you find satisfaction? Do you get it from a person, place, or thing? A wise person gets it from any and everything at all times. You soak it up. You soak it all up, all that life has to offer. But most of us don't and can't really understand satisfaction, true satisfaction. Would you like to know why? Do you think you can understand? Okay, let's try it. We can't understand true satisfaction because we are so entitled. Yes, we're so entitled. What do you think about that? You think I'm wrong, right? Here I am with another outrageous accusation. How could you ever be entitled? How could you ever be entitled? But I think you are. And I think you know you are too. So why are we so entitled? We think that because we have something, that means we deserve it and we should keep it. Listen very closely to what I said. We think because we have something today and we had it for many yesterdays, that means we deserve it and we should keep it. Why do you feel so deserving? Why do you feel so deserving? Here's the funny point. When we have something so special, most of us take it for granted. Maybe not the first day, maybe not the second day, but eventually you take it for granted. We think it will never go anyplace, anywhere at all. We ignore it. We devalue it. We essentially take it for granted. For example, do you show and let the special people in your life know how much they mean to you? Oh, you try to, right? You try to. Try being the key word. What exactly does that mean? Because what I asked you was a yes or no question. Either you do or you don't. Which one is it? Do you or don't you? Have you or haven't you? Now you want to be perplexed. Don't be perplexed. Just answer the damn question. Either you do or you don't. You see, we look at our blessings as entitlements. Yes, we see our blessings as entitlements, but actually they are privileges. Privileges, yes. Privileges. I'll say it again. Privileges. Now you're really puzzled. You don't like me using the word privilege, do you? Do you know why? Do you know why you don't like me using the word privilege? Because I know why you don't like it, but I want to give you a chance to figure it out. Do you know why you don't like me using the word privilege? I'll tell you. Privilege means that what you have can be taken away. No one likes to have anything taken away. No, it's yours. It belongs with you. It should stay with you until you choose otherwise. Privilege. Privilege makes you feel as though you have less power. Right? Less power. Let's say so. Less command. The thought of something you have that you have staked your claim on, the thought of that being taken away, it unsettles you, doesn't it? It's scary, isn't it? See, what you have, or what you think you think it's your birthright. Yes, you think it's your birthright. How and why is it your birthright? How? Was it born when you were born? Did it pop the hell out like you popped the hell out? Oh, you think because you found it that it's yours. And because you found it, you're going to keep it. No matter what. Well, I'm here as usual to burst your bubble. Pop, I'm going to burst your bubble. Everything that you have is a blessing. Think about that for a second. All the good things you have in your life, and possibly some of the not so good things. The not so good things would be blessings in disguise, and the apparent good things would be blessings. No matter if you think you have a lot or very little, blessings, good fortune is actually a privilege. Now, what do you think about that? Oh, now you're really scared. You went from a little bit of scared to a lot of scared. Why you want to be scared? Why do you want to be scared? Do you know why you're scared? Because I also know why you are scared. Actually, on second thought, you and I both know why you're scared. You're scared because what you thought was an entitlement, something that you possess, that you deserve, that you staked your claim on, I have now told you that it's a privilege. And we both know that privileges come and they go and they come and they go. And a lot of times they go when they're not appreciated. So now you and I both know why you are scared. Because you know, and I know, how unappreciative you are and have been. Did I strike a nerve? I cut the nerve, didn't I? Yeah, I'm going for it. If I haven't cut it, it will be cut by the time we're done. So you should be worried. You should be very, very, very worried because you've become too comfortable. You've become complacent. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to dive deeper. We're going to dive deeper because we need to understand this entitlement of ours. And I know you're still adjusting and you're still adapting to the concept, the thought, the notion that you're entitled. How can you be so entitled when life is so hard? All the suffering, the losses that you've had, you should be able to hold on, to claim, to stake what it is that you think is yours. Whether you still value it or not, it's yours. So how can what is yours be a privilege? How can it be a privilege? Well, let me ask you this. We know that there's fortune and there's misfortune in the world, correct? We know that some people appear to have greater fortune than others. We also know that what you have today could be gone tomorrow and vice versa. So if what is yours could possibly be gone tomorrow, that means it was never yours to begin with. You are on borrowed time. And that borrowed time can be short or it can be long. But the fact is, it's borrowed time. Because what is truly yours, it would not leave you. Does your heart leave you? Hopefully not. Otherwise, you would be motherfucking dead. At some point in time, our hair on top of our head leaves us. But in generally, it sticks with us. It's all about genetics. But I think you catch my point. What is yours, truly yours, it stays with you. It's with you. So if something you have today could be gone tomorrow, i.e. your health also, that's called a privilege. And a privilege is a blessing. So I have a question for you. Can one be satisfied as an entitled person? Can you be satisfied as an entitled person? Now, you may say yes, but I'm going to say no. Because what I say goes, and I'm going to tell you why. When you are entitled, an entitled person, you have a feeling, a sense of entitlements. That means you are in a state of possessing, of controlling. Yes, you're possessing and you're controlling what you have deemed to be yours. So when you are busy holding on to things and people that you think belongs to you, it actually takes away from your ability to enjoy that person, place, or thing. Listen to what I'm saying to you. If you have your dream car and you are attempting to steer that car, but for some reason that steering wheel has a life of its own. You're trying to go right, it's going left. It's trying to go right, you're going left. You keep trying to go right, that steering wheel keeps trying to go motherfucking left. Well, if you're busy battling with the steering wheel because it has a life of its own, you cannot appreciate your dream car. You cannot appreciate the experience. You cannot appreciate the ride because your focus and your attention is on trying to make that steering wheel go in the direction you want to go. You got my point? Of course you do. You're reluctant to admit it. But here's the funny thing. You don't have to admit it at all. I will admit it for you. So the question that I asked you is as follows. Can one be satisfied as an entitled person? Now, you and I both are going to answer this question together. The answer would be no, right? No. Because entitled means staking claims. It means possessing. It means owning. It does not mean enjoyment. It means you're collecting shit to take up space. You're collecting things to make yourself feel complete versus hollow. When you are basically trying to fill in your void of self and life by possessing and controlling, you take away the whole point of all your goddamn blessings because you're not enjoying them. Because to enjoy them, you would be enjoying life. And if you were enjoying life, you would be happy. You would be satisfied. But since I've already illustrated that you are neither, any of those, you catch my point. So why do we try to possess, claim, own? I gave you the answer. It gives us a sense of security. It gives us a sense of purpose. It helps us have a drive. It helps us increase our value and our self-worth, because the more things you own, the more things you control, the more things you possess, that means you're somebody of great importance, right? Right? It gives you stature. And that's why you fight so damn hard to keep it, because if someone started plucking everything you think you're entitled to away, now what is left? What's left? The hollow of a shell that you are, that's what's left. Because you use other things outside of yourself as a way to define and measure you, when you could never use those things to define or measure yourself. Which is why you fight so hard to keep it. Whether you want it or not, whether it's good for you or not, or whether it has ever been good for you or it's ceased to be good for you, that's why you're trying to own it. You're trying to get yourself grounded, full of purpose, with some substance. But you'll never have substance when you feel entitled. So why is our focus on accumulating and collecting? I just told you that. We're trying to make it seem or appear to others that we are of substance, that we are of the highest, utmost value. It doesn't matter if we have everything in the world and we're still miserable. It's how it appears. And you could always paint a beautiful smile on your face to go along with that facade of a life of yours, right? But what happens when your facades are gone? What happens when you close the door, your audience is gone, the lights go out? You can't hide. You can't run. How are you going to outrun you? You can't outrun you. How are you going to hide from you? You can't hide from you. You are always with you. So who's the fool in this mix? Who's the true fool? Who's the fool's fool? That would be you. What is the point of having everything that you want to possess in your possession if you're not enjoying it? Which is why I said, are you satisfied? Are you ever satisfied? What happens if you shifted your point of view? Yes. So let's say you go from a point of entitlement and you go to a place of looking at your privileges as blessings. When you say blessings, it gives a different ring to it. It has a different zing to it, doesn't it? You feel differently. You feel special. You feel loved. You feel grateful. Gratitude. So instead of feeling like you own, you possess, you're a boss motherfucker controlling some shit, let's go to a point of gratitude, a place of gratitude that softens you. It relieves the stress. When you're less tense, you are more inclined to enjoy what you have because you know that blessings are fleeting. They can be here today and gone tomorrow, just like a privilege. So when you know you have a blessing, it causes you to take the time to get the clarity of mind and heart to really appreciate and value all that you have in your life. And that's the funny thing. All we did was change our point of view. We're looking at the same stuff, just from a different location. And it just shifts so much in your life. Completely shifts. You go from an angry, hostile, standoffish, insecure void of a person with your sense of entitlement to a gracious, grateful, kind, open-minded, open-hearted person who is ready to receive and enjoy all the beautiful things that life has to offer. Now, which motherfucker do you want to be around? Now, some of y'all like to be nasty and mean, so you can choose the other side. But most of us, we want peace and happiness. We don't want all the drama. No. And I just illustrated to you, you're looking at the same stuff. All you did was change your perspective, your point of view. Now, how do you tend to or take care of your blessings? Yes, now we have gone from you feeling entitled to you being gracious and grateful. And when you are grateful, how do you show your gratitude for your blessings? Well, you feed and you nurture the things that are giving you life. It's a cycle of life. Gives to you, you give to other. Gives to you, gives to other. It's so simple. Not everything keeps giving to you. Giving to you. No, if you want to receive, you have to give also. It's a cycle of life. We all feed off of everyone and everything. Call it the food chain, call it whatever you want. But we're here to serve a purpose for one another. Top to bottom, bottom to top, side to side. I want you to think about that for a second. There's a flow to this world. There is a flow to this life. You put food and water in your body so you can have energy, so that your body can do what it needs to do for you during the day. You understand? Give, receive. Give, receive. Not take. And when you are in the mindset of entitlement, you're in the mindset of taking. You ain't giving a damn thing, but you are there to take. And the funny thing is, if you're going to take, at least enjoy the shit. But when you're entitled, there's no enjoyment. There's no enjoyment. There's no time to enjoy because you're too busy trying to hand, grab, paw, everything to keep it in your sight and in your grasp that you're not enjoying it. But when you have blessings, you look at those things that bring you joy, life bring you bliss, and you figure out the best way to give back to it, to feed it, to nurture it, so it can continuously give back to you. Continuously give back to you. Why do we hold on to blessings too long? Here's another thing. We think because we have a blessing, that blessing is supposed to be with us for the rest of our lives. No. A blessing will stay with you as long as it needs to be with you, and it should not be with you a minute, a moment longer. Let me explain. You have an outfit that when you bought, it fit wonderfully. It fit perfectly. You looked handsome. You look gorgeous. You look hot in that shit. But for some reason, maybe you've lost weight. Maybe you gained a little weight. That outfit is not looking the same. So instead of you trying to squeeze your too little ass or your big ass into that shit, you give it away. But no, do we want to give it away? No, we like to be deluded and in denial. We will keep trying to get our ass in that office and keep trying to tell ourselves that we look the same. When you and I both know a blind man can see that shit that you ain't supposed to be in that motherfucking outfit, but you still are holding on for your dear life. Some of y'all may be still trying to catch your fucking breath because your pants are too goddamn tight. But hey, that's neither here nor there. Now let's apply it to a relationship. Friend or the love of your life. Things have worked, things have clicked, it is buzzing along, but it is eventually the buzzing stops. You know it stopped because you don't feel the same. It doesn't give you the same feelings and sensations. So instead of us being honest and courageous and gracious enough to part ways in a loving manner, we will hold on to that shit for dear motherfucking life like there's nobody else out there for us. You see, when you outgrow something, that is a clue, that is a cue, that it's time for you to let that go. But we don't let it go because we're scared. We have scarcity on our minds. We'd rather have a dud in our motherfucking hands than to have our hands open and available to receive what is actually meant for us. I'm going to say this again. You have someone in your life and you have enjoyed some good times and bad times, but overall it's been good. But because things change, those feelings that you had, that connection you had, that shit has worn down, is basically worn out. And instead of looking at the situation for what it is and realize that you can still love the person, but it's time for you to go, you will do everything you can to keep that shit ticking. But it's not ticking. The only ticking is happening in your head. The shit was over. It was on life support. Now the bitch is motherfucking dead, which is your relationship, but you're not willing to let that go. You're going to wait till something catastrophic, something bad, something horrific happens for you to be able to let go. But what I'm telling you is when it stops working for you, you need to approach it with love and care and have an honest conversation about where you are and why. And let go gratefully, graciously, and lovingly. Because when you're no longer happy with what that blessing is, that means it's time for you to let that blessing go. Now, here's a way for you to think about this. Instead of looking at it as losing something, you can look at it as you are giving something away. I'll say it one more time. When it's time for us to let go of people, places, and things, we feel sad, we feel burdened, we feel hurt, we feel like we're losing. But this is how it works. When it's time for you to give something away, what you need to see it as you are giving a gift. You are giving a gift away to someone else because what you're giving away, one, is no longer for you, and two, is better suited for someone else. But as long as you hold on to something or someone longer than you should, you're delaying someone else's blessing. You're delaying the natural flow of life. And while you're holding on to some things that no longer work for you, let me give you some information here. You're actually holding up your own blessings, your new blessings that work for you right now. Things change, shit changes, and you have to change with it. You let go, you give to someone else so you can receive what is best suited for you at this moment in time. Can you even try to think about what I'm saying and grasp that? Stop looking at it as a loss and start looking at it as you are giving a great gift away so you can receive a greater gift in return for you. Do you understand? That's what it's about. So why do we allow others to hold on to our blessings? Now listen very carefully to what I said. Initially, I was talking to you about letting go of people who no longer work for you, people, places, and things. But we also have the other side where we allow other people, places, and things to hold on to us longer than we should. We know it's time for us to go, but for some reason we're not able to move. We're stuck, and we allow other things and people to keep their claws into us when we really want to be free. Now, why we do this? Well, for one, we're more concerned about the other person's feelings than our own. And two, you have to have a great fear of the unknown. But I just illustrated to you, to receive, you got to clear out your hands. And if you're too busy holding stuff that's old, that's no longer working for you, that's better suited for someone else, how are you going to be open, ready, and available to receive your new shit? You're not. You're delaying. You're creating hiccups and you're delaying shit. And you guys really need to think long and hard about what I'm saying. You're delaying what you're supposed to receive. How many other ways can I say it? If you're supposed to receive something, you need to make space for that shit. How do you know when it's time to make space? Because you're going to get your instincts, thoughts, feelings, all those other type of things that we like to ignore and sweep under the rug. We're going to get that stuff. And that's going to be our sign to say, red flag. It's time for me to start making some adjustments. It's time for me to get my head, my heart, my body, my soul right, because there's something else that's coming for me and I need to be ready to receive that shit. But to receive it, I got to get ready to let go of what I'm no longer happy with. And just because you're no longer happy with something, it doesn't mean that that something or someone is bad. All it means is you have outgrown it and it's no longer right for you. So you thank it. You thank it for its time. You thank it for its energy, efforts, and its love. And you say, I'm saying goodbye to you in love because now it's time for you to move on to someone else who's better suited for you. And it's time for me to move on to someone's better suited for me. But I will always love you for what you have done for me, and you will always be a part of me. You're like, oh shit, Tara has lost her motherfucking mind. Maybe, maybe not. But I think we can have a new paradigm as far as how we live through life. Why does everything has to be fighting and arguments and fucking bickering and distress and tension? It doesn't have to be like that. If you guys can just chill the fuck out and learn how to read the signs that are in front of your motherfucking face, life gets much simpler. We fuck shit up. We, human beings, we fuck it up for ourselves. So I'm trying to show you and illustrate a way to have a new way of approaching life that has much, much less stress, greater clarity, happiness, and peace. Now, what more can you ask for? What more can you ask for? Shit, what more can you ask for? You're getting what you need and you want, you're happy, life is flowing. What more could you possibly ask for? But are you going to do it? Are you going to do it? Who the fuck knows? And you're probably saying, who the fuck cares? Whatever. But I'm throwing it out there for you to think about. Can you live a life in a state of gratitude? Of course you can. And you should try to do so. You should be grateful for all the things that are giving you some type of benefit in your life, whether it's positive or a lesson that needs to be learned. The more you appreciate, the more you learn in the process, the faster you get through shit and you can just keep it moving in your life. We don't need to feel stuck. We don't need to feel lethargic. Who needs that shit? I don't need that shit. Do you? I know I don't. So if you want to change the flow of things coming in your life, you got to be flowing yourself. Are you flowing? Or are you rigid? You're still pissed because I said you were motherfucking entitled. Whatever, man. Get the fuck over it. You get my point. Let go. Let it flow. Let go. Let the shit flow. Let what's meant to you flow the fuck to you. And be happy. Shit. We waste food we waste shit like it's nothing. We have no problem wasting food and letting that shit go. So why can't you do the same for people, places, and things? Why can't you do the same for it? Why can't you trust that when you let something go, you're just making space for something else that's even better? Now, isn't that exciting? I think it's exciting. I think it's the most exciting thing ever. To know that you're always experiencing and on your toes and living your best life. Can you live your best life? Can you find the best life? Fuck. Can you identify a motherfucking best life? Even if it wasn't yours, can you try to pinpoint the shit? Because if you can pinpoint the shit, maybe you can get the shit for yourself one day. But you need to start having some fucking gratitude and stop thinking that you own some shit and you running some shit. So let me tell you something. You ain't running a motherfucking thing. You're not running shit. All you're doing is running motherfucking scared and you're running in goddamn circles. But you're only running from you. And how far are you going to get from you? I already told you the answer. How far are you going to get? You look left, there you are. You look right, there you are. You look in front. Your ass is all around you. You can't escape you. So at least fucking be grateful. Be gracious. Try it. So what happens when you are grateful? Life gets as smooth as it can be. You turn where you're supposed to turn. You avoid pitfalls, obstacles, hindrances, bad people. All you got to do is be more fluid and read the signs of life. Read it. Read it. Your life doesn't have to be that fuck all and stanky. No. You can be fuck all and stanky, but your life doesn't have to be fuck all and stanky. But unfortunately, you're fuck all and stanky. Your life is fuck all and stanky. And you guys are a match made in motherfucking hell. But how about you want to try to be a match made in heaven? Would you like to try that? Would you like to try it? All you gotta do is let go. Control the things you can't control. Let go of the shit you have no control over. And learn how to ride that bitch of life. If you can learn how to ride life, you will be a much better person. You see, I told someone before, we have these dreams, these ideas, fantasies, notions in our head of what we want life to look like. But let me throw some shit out there to you. What if you could have what you want, but with some slight tweaks? The happiness that you thought you could have would be far beyond anything you could ever imagine. If you let go slightly and let life work its way out, make a few tweaks, you would be beyond bliss. See, we're too busy trying to make shit happen on our own accord. And we're trying to make things happen in the way that we want it to look. But sometimes there's a better alternative. There's a better option. But if you're too busy, entitled, and trying to control some shit that you don't have any control over, you miss the fuck out. You will continue to miss the fuck out. And eventually you will be missed out. It's simple as that. So think about what I said. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions, let me know. But please get rid of those entitlements. Look at what you have as a privilege that can come, that can go. And while it is with you, you love it, you relish it, you enjoy it for as much as you can, as long as you can. And then when it no longer gives you what you used to receive, then it's time for you to say goodbye. Say goodbye before it's painful. Say goodbye when you can say it with graciousness and love and peace. And then you can move on to the next phase of your life and enter that with grace, love, and peace. Now I'm going to be talking about something in the news, so please stick with me. Okay, everyone. So this is part 2 of the divorce hindsight that I was speaking about last week in episode 43. And I'm going to finish talking about divorce remorse or divorce hindsight with this episode. And to reiterate for those who didn't listen to part 1, we are essentially focusing on some of the things that people wish they had done differently in their marriages. But, they're divorced now and they're just looking back saying, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. So there's like 8 different topics that I am going to be speaking about. I believe I've already addressed 3 of them. So I'm going to finish up the next 5 in this episode 44. If you've missed the first part, then I suggest you go listen to episode 43. But let's go ahead and get started. So the next person said that I wish I had waited to get married. Because I wouldn't have gotten married at such a young age. I had no idea who I was yet. See, let me tell you guys something. It doesn't matter what age you are. You can have some old ass people who are still clueless as to who you are or who they are. Now, the real question I want to ask you, how and why are you clueless to you? You see, we use that as an excuse as an early age that young people don't know anything about themselves. Old people don't know a damn thing about themselves. Age doesn't define or even begin to describe people's ignorance and lack of awareness. But you felt compelled to get married, so you got married. And now you have regrets because you didn't know who you are. But let me ask you this. Is it possible that the person that you married, that you felt you were too young to marry, that person actually helped you unfold and learn who you are? How's that for a thought? So instead of looking at you getting married as a regret, how about you look at that person as the key to unlocking the door as to who you are? You see, some marriages are supposed to last all your life, if you're lucky, or maybe you're unlucky. But the point is, instead of seeing this person or that marriage as a situation that you probably should not have gone down that path and indulged in, that person was more than likely the key to helping you be who you are today. So why can't you be grateful and gracious? Say thank you. Understand that that person came into your life to show you a part of you that you probably would have never had a chance to get a glimpse of, or it would have taken a much longer time to learn about who you are. That's some real thought for you people to think of, because we're busy saying, oh, I wish I didn't do this. Oh, I wish I didn't do that. Why did I marry this person? You married them because you were supposed to. You were with them because you were supposed to be. You chose it. No one held a fucking hot dog up to your motherfucking head and say, hey, marry this person. No, you wanted it. You did it. You got it. So don't have regrets. Change how you see it. Thank that person. Thank them for their time, their energy, and efforts. Thank yourself for having the courage to go down that path and see sides of yourself that you never would have had an opportunity to see. Because this person says, as the years passed, I began to understand who I was and what parts of me, yes, what parts of me were never going to change. You began to see that, my friend, because of the person you were married to. They help you find that shit. They help you find that treasure, that wisdom that you're spouting now. They helped you get that. So instead of looking at them, like I said, as a mistake, go hug them, thank them, give them a kiss on the cheek, and forever hold them in the highest regards. Whether you had good times or bad times, and I'm assuming you had a lot of bad times, that's why you're a little motherfucking salty. It's okay to be salty. Turn that salt into something. Thank them. Thank them. It's as simple as that. Don't have regrets. You did the best that you could at that point in time. At that point in time. And that's all there is, and that's all that there ever could be. Really think about that, guys. So this next person said that I wish I had been honest about my personal fears and struggles. I wish that I would have been more transparent about my challenges as a man. I isolated myself emotionally. I'm trying to understand that if you were not able to be honest about your personal fears and struggles with the person that you said, I love and I do, that means the person that you were prior to getting married, that person was not you. You actually had a facade, an actor, a persona, and you enticed and seduced your spouse with someone other than you. You basically baited and switched on the person. You did a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on your spouse. Now, why did you do such trickery? And why, after marriage, did this other person, the real you, decide to pop up his head? Did you have to wait until you had that person locked down and secured before you could basically show the real you, the person that you did not like, you could not stand? Because you said you wish you didn't isolate yourself emotionally. But apparently you were already isolated emotionally. Because if you are trying to lead me to believe that you had displayed your honesty about your personal fears and struggle prior to marriage, did you show it prior to marriage or not? And after you got married, why did it disappear then? You had more time, more energy, everything invested into this relationship. So why did your manhood or your womanhood come into play after marriage? You see, that's the funny thing about marriage and these pieces of paper. We as people look at marriages in these pieces of paper like it's some a safe way, a getaway, a place that you basically let everything unleash and unravel. Why are you holding yourself together so tight? And then when you get married, you let it all burst out. Why the trickery? Why the facade? Did you think that you could run? Did you think that you could hide? Did you think that you could keep up the image? Like, what exactly were you trying to prove? And why is it that as a human being, you feel that you're not allowed to have fears and struggles? That means you're not a human being. And why wouldn't you share that with the person that you decided to marry and spend the rest of your life with? That makes no sense to me at all. Did you get married? To get married? Why would you do it? If you could not show your fears and you said the vows of for better or for worse, that means everything you said wasn't true. So what it sounds like to me is you don't really know who you are. Because if you knew what your personal fears and struggles were before you got married, are you trying to make us all believe that after you got married they change? They would only change if you were not honest about what your personal fears and struggles and what your challenges were. We all have challenges. So why would you feel reluctant to display that? What level of inadequacy, unworthiness are you carrying with you that you feel that you could not show your challenges? Are you a superhero? Were you taught to be a superhero? Were you taught not to have feelings, emotions, and thoughts? I'm trying to understand why you could not be honest about your fears and struggles. That is what life is about. So you were faking and pretending. And you basically put on a show for your spouse, for your significant other. And then when you moved in, got the paper, it got too close for comfort, so you locked yourself away more? How can that ever have been a relationship? There was no connection at all. And the sad thing is, neither one of you actually knew that the connection wasn't there. How can you have a connection that's based on complete positivity? That's not balanced at all. So what, you swept each other off your feet? Both of you got swept off your feet? You showed both each other what you wanted to see, all the great things, and you locked away any of the bad, the dark parts of yourself? Now that is a big, big, big red flag. Nothing is perfection. We're all doing the best that we can every moment of every day. So if you are in a relationship where there's no issues, there's no fears, there's no struggles, there's no insecurity, there's no questioning, there's no gathering of information, there's no reflection or awareness, everything is just peaches and cream, and I'm telling you now, that relationship is a hoax and it's going to fall the fuck apart. Somebody is emotionally and mentally devoid, and that is someone that you don't want to marry because you are definitely going to end up for divorce. I can't even begin to describe the complexity of dysfunction that's in a relationship where a person cannot be transparent about their challenges as a human being, and they basically isolate themselves emotionally. Why be married if you're emotionally isolated? Why get married and say I do and I love you for better or worse if you can't show your personal fears and struggle? Something is deeply wrong in that relationship. So if any of you are in a relationship with someone who seems perfect, always in a good mood, something is wrong. Run, motherfucking run, 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 and don't look the fuck back. Now the next person said, I wish I had stood up for myself. It said, when we were first married, my ex-wife husband supported us while I was struggling to get my career off the ground. And because of that, I deferred to my spouse and took a back seat as far as decision making. Now, this is what I'm trying to understand. What does how much money someone's making got to do with their opinion, their needs, their wants, their contributions to the relationship? Why do we as people like to place a value on someone's worth, their position, their status in a relationship, depending on how many zeros they're bringing to the bank account? That's not a relationship. That is an employee-employer type of status. That is not a relationship. Relationships have nothing to do with money. It's nice to have financial security. But if what you think, feel, and have to say is of no value due to the fact that you're trying to build your career up, that means you're not equal. How could you not be equal? Two people are in a relationship. Everything should be on an equal platform. And because one person is financially more dominant in a relationship, how does that take away from the other person? How does that even begin to reflect? That is nothing. The person who's earning the most today could be earning nothing tomorrow. So why would you not hold each other up in the highest, utmost regard? And why would you allow yourself to be demeaned and devalued because of how much money you make? Why would you let it happen? How would you let it happen? And why would you think it's okay? Like something is wrong with this dynamic also. Just because you're blessed financially, that doesn't mean anything when it comes to love in a relationship. Who earns the most? So the fuck what? Who does the most? So the fuck what? You're contributing to the best of your abilities. You're complementing and supplementing each other. So if your supplement happens to be more money than the other person, all that means is you're balancing everything out. That doesn't give you more power, status, worth. How? If we all know that we're not perfect, and we all know that we bring different gifts to the table, why would you ever let someone hide your gifts? Why would you let someone dim your light all because of you trying to build up your career? That's not acceptable. Anybody who really, truly loved you would not value your opinion, your worth, your thoughts, your feelings, anything that wouldn't be tied to how much money you make. You are a person outside of your career and your income. And if anyone ever says, I love you, and tries to slot you based upon your zip code, your bank account, the car you drive, your degree, what type of clothes you wear, that is not love. You need to get away from that person. Love doesn't treat you like that. Love doesn't do that to you. Love doesn't say, oh, baby, how much money did you make this week? Okay, motherfucker, you didn't earn enough, so shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, and get the fuck out of my face. That's not a relationship. No one, nothing should ever make you feel inadequate, especially if they're telling you, I love you, and they told you, I do. I do's don't do shit like that. I do's don't smother you, don't suffocate you, don't stifle you, don't take away your voice. That's not what a person who loves, that's what they do. They don't say, get your shit straight, get your money right, and then you can be an equal partner in this relationship. No, that's not a relationship. That's a slave master type of shit. That's not where you want to be. That's going to fuck you up 10 ways to Sunday. No. The guy said, when my career worked out, I expected to have more of an equal role, but it was not to be that way. The original dynamic had baked in, and she remained the dominant partner. What that means is that heifer you're with got some real motherfucking insecurities, some fears, some issues, some traumas. And what that means is that you got some low self-esteem, some self-worth. Now, if the rules of the game was when I got my money straight, I earned my equal partnership in this relationship, then someone who truly loved you, matter of fact, it wasn't love to begin with. Let's just say hypothetically, I'm indulging y'all. I'm going to indulge you. You got your money right. You got your career straight. You expect to have an equal voice, an equal partnership. And now she's saying, nah, motherfucker, you took too long. I'm still running this ship. Sit the fuck down. Shut the fuck up. How have you ever been satisfied? And why would you have even stayed there? Because someone who truly loved you, this dynamic would have never happened. It would never happen. Love is so simple that it's complex for y'all. Love doesn't define you, confine you, restrict you, thwart you. It doesn't do that. It doesn't matter if you like to wear tight-fitted clothes, baggy clothes, look like a hobo, look like a fashion. It has nothing to do with anything. Because when you strip all that stuff away, what is left is you. And if a person can't love you stripped as you're in the wrong relationship. See, what we fail to realize is that we get into these relationships to learn some lessons. And do what you were supposed to learn is that you are of value, you are of worth. Someone told you someplace that until you achieved X, Y, and Z, or maybe you told yourself that because you were told that you were unlovable and unworthy. Wherever you get that ideal from, you carry that into your marriage, and your childhood, your young adulthood basically played itself out again and again and again. We are all equal. No matter what we do, where we go, what we say, who we know, why we do what we do, we are all equal. Our skin color, our race, our creed, our gender, our religion, our spiritual, none of that means anything at all. It means nothing. So if someone's trying to make you think that all these labels and all these bullshit means something, get away from that person. That person doesn't know how to love. And they definitely cannot love you in the way that you deserve to be loved. There's no amount of commas, zeros, zip codes, degrees, nothing that can take away from what you are, your value, your worth. And if you allow someone to demean you, to strip you, to define you, confine you based upon some false bullshit, you don't know what love looks like. You don't love yourself. And you have now chosen to marry a motherfucker who really doesn't give a fuck about you either. But all they're going to do, they're going to play out your bullshit over and over again. That is exactly what's going to happen because that is what has happened. Do you understand? This next person said, I wish I had truly listened to her because she just wanted to be heard. Why are you wishing you listened to her? Why did you not want to hear her? This person said, divorce was a painful wake-up call for me. When I look back, there are thousands of mistakes I made. Most were small and a few were big. The mistake that cost the most was my inability to listen, because I didn't really make her my biggest priority and I lost her forever. This sounds like a bunch of regret to me. When you can't do the simplest thing as to listen as someone you supposedly love, why would you not want to listen to someone you love? The only reason I can think of is it required you to take a look at yourself, and you don't even listen to yourself. So if you have the inability to listen to yourself, then why would you be inclined to listen to someone else? You see, that's the part we don't realize when it comes to relationships. It causes things to come up that we need to look at and address. And if you feel that it's too great of an inconvenience to you to address what it is that's hurting you and the person you love, why are you even married if you don't want to listen? Why have you taken someone away off the market from having someone that is truly capable of listening? And why are you taking up space? Why are you wasting their time when you can't even do the simplest thing as to listen? Listening is free. It doesn't cost a damn thing. If you love this person, why wouldn't you want to hear them? Why wouldn't you want to fully connect and truly appreciate what it is that they're going through and what it is that they need from you or the situation? Why would you do that? What did you actually think a marriage was about? You thought there would be no communication, no reflection, no awareness? What did you think it would actually be? How can you have a relationship where you can't even muster the ability to listen, understand, comprehend? Like, what is wrong with us as a people, as a human beings? Why do we think that we're entitled to fucking relationships? Why do we think we're entitled to that? And you should be happy that she divorced you. A wake-up call? It's more like a bitch slap to me. It's not a wake-up call. It's a bitch slap. And why are you having regrets now? I'm sure she told you more than once, you're not listening to me, you're not paying attention, you're not listening to me. So what, you thought eventually she would shut the fuck up and lose interest? She didn't have enough balls to leave you, divorce you? Like, what? How did you think this was going to play out? Now you're sitting here boo-hoo, motherfucker, hoo-hoo, because she's divorced. Yeah, she's divorced because unbeknownst to you, she found someone who can listen to her. But that motherfucker wasn't you. And now you want to look back saying, oh, I should have listened. Should have, would have, could have, but you motherfucking didn't. You did what you thought was best. You did what you thought you could get away with. And you did what you got caught for, which is you got caught for a motherfucking divorce. Your ass got served. So instead of wasting other people's time, making them think that you actually want to be in a relationship with them, maybe you should try being in a relationship with your damn self. Try that for once. Don't break someone else's heart. Don't hurt someone else. See how you can treat yourself. If you can treat yourself in a loving manner, then that tells me that you're ready for a relationship. If you can listen to yourself, take care of yourself, be there for yourself, be patient for yourself, have a love affair with yourself. See how that shit pans out. But if yourself leaves you, then you really are truly fucked. Because technically, you can't leave you. But if you're that fucked up that you want to leave you, then you never should be in a motherfucking relationship to begin with. And you definitely shouldn't get married. Listening is one of the simplest things we can do to make a person feel seen, heard, loved, treasured, and respected. And if you can't give basic shit, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Huh? Fuck your regrets. There's nothing to say. There's nothing that I could say about how the fact that you couldn't listen, take the time to listen. I bet you she listened to you. I bet you availed yourself of that, didn't you? But you couldn't give the same in return? Why? Because you're perfect? She married you. She got you. There's nothing else that you need to do. The rest is as it is. She needs to ride the wave or get the fuck out. Well, guess what? She got the fuck out. And now you need to get the fuck on. And stop looking back over your shoulder and move the fuck on. And maybe next time you'll be fortunate to find someone not as good as her, but as close as you can possibly get. Because I have a feeling, sir, You let the best one get away because you lack the ability to listen. It's unacceptable. It's crazy at the same time, but it's unacceptable. Where you're married to someone, you say I do, and all of a sudden you think your motherfucking ears can stop working. No, that's asinine. And the last person here said, I wish I had taken responsibility for my part in our issues. Well, you can't take responsibility for your part in your issues until you look at yourself. That's another thing we like to do. We like to talk about, we need to focus on our issues in a relationship. We need to do this. We need to do that. No, what you need to do, you need to take a long, hard look in the goddamn mirror. That's what you need to do. Because the issues in the relationships actually stem from the individual persons. You see, what happens is our individual issues come together, they clash, they bash, and that creates babies in a relationship, and those babies are called issues. And when those issues are not dealt with, the babies become toddlers, preteens, teens, and motherfucking adults. So if you want to avoid giving birth to little baby problems, the best piece of advice I can give all of you is that if something comes up in a relationship that gives you discomfort on whatever level, go to a corner and do some soul searching. Fix that shit on your end, and I can guarantee you the rest will work itself the fuck out. And either the other person will evolve and grow, or you will move the fuck on to someone who is more conducive to your spiritual, mental, and emotional growth. This person said, my biggest regret is my lack of self-awareness and poor communication skills. How do we even get into relationships? What lack of self-awareness means you don't know what the fuck you want or who the fuck you are. How the hell you get married then? It sounds like you were pressured into doing some shit that you really didn't want to do. Poor communication skills? How did you keep someone long enough to actually propose to them and get married? And if you know that communication can be better, why not strive and do something to fix it? Why not do better? Why are we so lazy, entitled, and just complacent? You think that once you marry someone, you get someone, the work stops? No. To have something that's special, you have to work even harder to keep it. You have to work hard to get it, and you have to work harder to keep it. And the hard work comes from within you. It's not outside of you. If you fix what's going on within you, then outside of you will naturally get fixed also. We don't understand that. We keep trying to fix problems in our motherfucking relationship like they're outside of us. And we keep wondering why the shit never goes away. It never goes away because you haven't solved the real goddamn problem. You have done nothing about that. And that is why you are divorced. The person said, I never stopped to figure out why I felt how I felt, said what I said, or did what I did. As I said, clueless. And I have a feeling you were clueless the whole damn time. The sad part is you probably told her or him what they wanted to hear and see. And instead of them reading the signs, they decided to trust you because they loved you. And they went along with the ride and they got burned by your bullshit. Read the signs, people. Don't look at what people say. Look at what the fuck they do. Because what they say and what they do, if that shit doesn't add up, you need to run away. You're wasting your goddamn time. This person said, I operated in the relationship reactively. And you can't do that or you will have the same problems over and over again. Yeah, you have the same problems reactively. When you do that when you behave reactively, yes, you have the same problems. Because you're not dealing with shit. You're not dealing with you. You keep looking at the other person as the reason why you're dealing with your dealing because you see them as your trigger. And whatever triggers you naturally must be the cause of what your issues are. No, you are the cause. The mere existence of this person breathing can trigger your ass. You are the problem. And it's okay that you're the problem. Because if you know you're the problem, you're aware that you're a problem, then you can begin working on you to address the problem. But if you're too busy focusing on how this other person is triggering your shit, you're never going to get anywhere. And then year after year after year after year after year is going to go by. And you're going to find that your little baby problems have turned into big ass senior citizen problems. And at that point, it's hard to fix that shit. That's called divorce court. That's called divorce. When you let things go on too long, unfortunately, it gets too big to do a damn thing about. And unless you really need to work really hard and long, you might as well write that shit off and sign that fucking divorce decree and move the fuck on with your life. Relationships are not a safekeeper for us. It is a ground. It is a place for us to explore the deeper, darker, brighter aspects of ourselves so we can blossom to be the best people we can be. We use that shit as a crutch. We use that shit as an excuse. We use it as a way to blame other people instead of taking a long, hard look at you and saying, hey, you know what? This is in my power to fix. I'm going to fix this. And my hopes that by me fixing me, it keeps improving our relationship and shows how much I love myself and the other person. That's simple, right? It's very simple. Are you going to do it? Are you willing to do it? Are you thinking about doing it? Are you going to do it? You don't know. You never motherfucking know. But I'm telling you, if you're focusing on the other person in a relationship and wondering why shit is not getting fixed because you're too busy looking at the wrong motherfucking person. Turn your eyeballs around and look the fuck at yourself. Fix everything that you can anyway and always within you, and you will see the shifts in the relationship. Now, the shifts can be good or bad, and either the relationship is going to continue or it's not. If it continues, great, it was meant to be. If it doesn't continue, great, it wasn't meant to be, and now you're ready for the next best motherfucking thing. So let's not have any remorse. Fuck hindsight. Fuck hindsight. Say it again. Fuck hindsight. Hindsight is some bullshit. When you are in discomfort in any way, shape, or form, or any degree, that is your sign to do some reflection and get your shit under control so you can fix it. Don't go boo-hooing about some shit that you could have fixed and you didn't fix. If you wanted to fix it, you would have, but you didn't. So you need to accept the fact that you made the best decision that you could and move the fuck on with your life. Fix you so that whatever relationship you get in next, you don't do the same shit again. We always are focusing outside of ourselves instead of looking inward. Inward is the key. Inward is the final permanent solution you need. Because once you deal with that shit on the inside, that problem ceases to exist. Hint, hint, clue, clue. Hint, hint, clue, clue. If you deal with it inside of you, it will cease to exist and it will not pop its head up ever again in your life. But we like Jack in the Box problems, right? Up, down, up, down, up, down. I'm telling you, get rid of the up, down, kill the bitch, kill the problem, be done with it, put it to rest in peace, and move the fuck on with your life. So this is it for this episode. Divorce Remorse Part 2. I hope you learned something, but relationships are really supposed to be enjoyable. And when they're not enjoyable, you do self-awareness, reflection, you grow, you let go, you heal. And if relationship is still not improving after you've done your work, then that is a sign for you to let go, move on, because someone better is waiting for you and you need to give that other motherfucker away because there's someone else better waiting for them. I will speak to you next week. Thank you. Are you disappointed this has come to an end? Well, it doesn't have to. Reach out and let me know what you think about this episode and my podcast. You can try and slide into my DM, but I will kick your ass out. So I suggest you hop into my DM on Instagram at Difficult and Demanding or Twitter at Mrs. D&D, or leave a comment on one of my posts. Now give. My episode links to friends, family, associates, frenemies. Hell, give it to your enemies. Actually, I don't give a damn who you give it to. Just give the shit to people and bring laughter to others and show your love for this podcast. Do you have a sense of entitlement? You probably would say no, but I think you do. Watch my new sideshow episode to find out. It is called Are You Ever Satisfied? You can get it by searching for Difficult and Demanding on YouTube or watch on IGTV. Episode 45 is here on September 28th, 2018 from the I'm Difficult and Demanding podcast.